Swamiji, that is so amazing to have another wonderful session with you. Before I start the conversation, I want to tell all of you sitting here, I've had the privilege of knowing Swamiji for over 4+ years now. He's one of the most eloquent speakers, a very learned man, thought-provoking conversations, somebody whose aura, whose energy is going to inspire you. People who have had the opportunity to interact with him knows that he's one of his time. So Swamiji, very happy that you took time and have this conversation. I know the love you have for education and students. We are at Chinmaya Mission and your time here is deeply appreciated. To all of you, the next 1 hour, there are many moments in our lives where we would not realize what it's going to bring to us. So to each of you, I want to say that the next 1 hour is very precious. Some people might get inspired by the whole conversation. It might be one-liner that Swamiji says or an anecdote that he shares. So it can inspire you and change your life because everything starts with the mind, and that's what Swamiji believes in, that something that can inspire you can change your movement, bring a movement in life. So with that, I want to start with today's topic. Today's topic, Swamiji, was given by one of the students. Can I succeed without losing myself? You know, it's very interesting when I looked at the topic. We all think about it. We all dwell about it. If I have to break the topic into 3 parts, there are 3 very, very prominent words in the title. There is 1, succeed, which is success. Number 2, it has got myself. And the third one, it's called losing. You know, 3 very, very distinct words or ideas in mind. So let's start with success. You know, one of the things that all of us are chasing in some way or the other. What, according to you, is the definition of success?
Before we start, Vinay, should I change this whole title differently?
Yes, please.
It says that how can we have success without losing ourselves? I would like to say when you find yourself, you will be successful. So, success, of course, is very subjective to everyone. What is success for one may not be success for the other. And our general definition of success is that when I get what I aim for, what I desire, or what I set as my goal, when I get that, that is success. If I don't get it, people label themselves as failures. So success is subjective. It's what we aim for, whether we get it or we don't get it. But if we actually reflect on it, if we get something that we want, but we are not happy about it, can you call that person successful?
No.
No. If we are happy, then we are successful. It was 1982 or 84 Olympics when that athlete won the gold medal. He was asked that you won the gold medal, thousands have competed for it, how does it make you feel? And he didn't have that joy on his face. So they asked, how do you feel with this success? He said, I don't feel successful. They said, why? He said, I won the gold medal, but I did not break the world record. Because he has set his own standard that he wanted to achieve, and he could not achieve it, even though he won the gold medal, even though he got what most people aimed for. But what he aimed for was to break the world record. So therefore, success is subjective. And if that success does not make you happy, then it cannot be called as success. But if you are a happy person, do you feel successful or no? Because finally in life, what we seek is happiness. Not this thing or that thing, not this goal or that goal. So, a happy person is a successful person. But a person who's got wealth, etc., does not necessarily mean that we are successful.
And Swamiji, when you were a 20-year-old teenager, back then, if you go back to the memory lane, what was success definition for you? Because a room full of people who are between 18 and 23.
Actually, success for me, which I share now even with corporate heads, even from childhood, it was fulfilling my purpose. It was not specifically earning more money or running a big business or even just being in a profession that I did want to be in. No, but for me, success was fulfilling my purpose. And thank God, from childhood, I was very clear about my purpose, and therefore my goals were set based upon that purpose. So, you want a job for what? Most people will say for money. Honestly, is it not? There's one university example I give. I was with Puja Gurudev in Singapore, and there was a youth session. There they gather, it's one city, is one whole country, as you know. And everything they do together. And it's a very nicely managed country, as you would say. So there was a youth forum, so all the youth of the country were gathered there. All of them. And the professors had said that if there's one person that you need to invite, and luckily he is in town, otherwise to get his schedule is not, is Swami Chinmaya. Now the youngsters didn't know, as Swami is coming, what is he going to talk about? Oh, don't do this, don't do that, don't take drugs, don't take this. They thought they will just talk about those things. They had no idea, how wonderfully Gurudev could speak. And the subject was changing values in changing times. Now they thought that some Sadhu Baba will come and bore them. After he spoke to them, in 20 minutes gave them the whole gist and a clear understanding of how their discussions should be throughout the day. They were so inspired that the next speaker who stood on the mic, like the Pied Piper walking out, all the thousands of students walked out with Gurudev and said that, we want you back, we want you back. We never thought that you could speak so well. Our professors told us. But Gurudev had his program. That time I was a young brahmachari. So they said, big Swami not available, small Swami available. So he said, yes, he's got nothing much to do. You can take him. So anyway, we were supposed to go somewhere and somebody was supposed to drop us, And there's a proper university example. That's why I love giving it in university. They dropped me outside. This expression, I'll drop you. They dropped me outside. And their university, in Singapore, everything is uniform. Everything. Their buildings look alike. Their trees look alike. So I came with the convoy of cars. I didn't know where to go. I was walking on the road alone, not knowing where the conference was going on. One young man came on a bicycle. I stopped him. I said, okay, listen, I'm going to go to this place. Where are you going? He said, to college. I said, why are you going to I said, where are you going to college? He said, where the conference is there, But I said, you going for the conference? He said, no, I've got my studies to do, so I'm going there. So I said, can you take me there? He said, yes. But he was so full of questions. Why are you wearing orange? All these things. Who are you? I was in no mood to answer those questions. So I know one secret. Should I share the secret with you?
Yes, please.
Yeah. The best way to avoid your teachers asking you questions. Some class tricks. You want to know it? Yeah. Ask questions to the teacher. To avoid being asked questions, ask questions. But I tell you, one teacher, very clever she was. The student asked question She asked question in the class. The student asked her the question. And she said, well, if I knew the answer, would I ask you the question? No. So, I started asking questions. I said, where are you going? He said, college. I said, there's no other questions, just ask why. So I said, why are you going to college? Obviously to get knowledge. I said, do you attend all the sessions? Those days sessions were not like today, you're compulsory. No. He said, no, not all the sessions. So I said, if you're going to college to gain knowledge, then why are you missing your classes? He said, I am going to college to get a degree. I am a student of commerce. I'll just study last moment, I'll get a degree. So I said, suppose I give you a degree. He said, this is not India. I said, why you spoil India's name? Everywhere it is available. If I give you a degree, will you go to college? He said, no. So I said, you got a degree. He said, what degree? I said, what degree you want? Management degree, this. So he said, whatever degree. I said, you got the degree. So he said, you can give me a degree, but will I get a job? I said, make up your mind, you want degree or a job? He said, I want a job, of course. So I said, come to our mission. We've got everything in the field of education, rural development, medicine, whatever, media, everything. What job you want, you come. He said, how much money will I get? I said, you wanted a job, I'm giving you a job, now you're asking for money. He said, why do I want a job? I want it for money. So I said, okay, I'll give you the money. Do you want a job? You get money, why should I do a job? No? So I said, okay, I give you money. How much money do you want? So he said, how much can you give? So I said, how much do you want? You tell me, no? So he said, million. I said, Singapore dollars, US dollars, or sterling pounds. He did not even know. Student of commerce, he didn't know which is more. So he said, which is more? I said, sterling pounds. So he said, okay, million sterling pounds. So I said, it's already yours. Now, if you've got blind believers like this, who wants to give such logical talks? No? He was so happy. He said, my name, which means I can buy my car, I can buy my this, I said, you never said anything about car, etc. Yeah. Make up your mind. You want money, right? You didn't ask for a car. He said, why do I want money? I want it to buy myself a car, I want to buy myself this. I said, okay, I'll give you all that you want. Give me a list. He gave me a whole list of wishful thinking. I said, all is yours. He said, you mean say I can drive my car and show off to everybody? I said, no, you can't drive your car. Why do you want a car for? He said, because I want to enjoy. I said, why do you want to enjoy? He said, I want to be happy. I said, why do you want to be happy? And he had no answer. He had no answer. So if you see, why do we want anything in our life? Yeah? You go to college because you want a degree. You want a degree because you want a job. You want a job because you want to make money. And most people stop here. And we don't recognize that we don't want money for the sake of money. We want money to get objects which we want to enjoy. And we think that when we enjoy these objects, it will make us happy. So finally, we want to be happy, don't we? Yeah. Yeah. And we do everything in our life to make ourselves miserable. And then we expect happiness from money. We expect everything. So my purpose was very clear. What I wanted from life. Yeah? And also what I wanted to do. Why I wanted to study. Why I wanted to be in a particular profession. That purpose was very clear to me. And because of that, even if I could not get into a certain profession, I was not disappointed. I fulfilled my purpose through other means. And there is where goal becomes a means. Goal does not become a destination. That if you do not achieve it, that you are a failure. as long as you fulfill your purpose. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think the thing about fulfilling a purpose or finding your purpose, Swamiji, one of the things we are talking about happiness, one of the major factors, especially in a university life, is you constantly compare yourself. You compare with your peers for your marks, you compare because somebody else has got a better hair or somebody is getting more attention. So this comparison is a huge issue which is obstructing happiness, right? So how can somebody kind of shut all the windows for comparison?
See, comparison itself is not bad. If comparison inspires you, you compare yourself with some great people, how much they could achieve in their life. Even your own peers. Yeah? If they can do it, why can't you do it? If they can do it, why can't you do it? If it's possible for someone, it is possible even for you. So comparison should inspire you, not give you a complex. Because always remember, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has said this very beautifully. Our Gurudev Swami Chinmaya used to emphasize that each one of us are unique in our own way. Because your next topic, about you or losing you. Each one of you are unique in your own way. And each one of you in the total cosmos serves a very special purpose. Just as a snake is as important as the person who tills the soil, we might think that the snake is an impediment. But snake protects your grains from rodents. We may discard snake as a poisonous. That's why in India, we worship even snakes. Because we recognize the importance of everything, every being in the universe. Yeah? And so much more is human beings. So always remember one thing, that each one of us is unique and each one of us has a unique purpose that, whether you say God or the universe, has to fulfill through you. If only you make yourself available, you don't even have to recognize what is your purpose. The universe will guide you to your purpose. God will guide you to your purpose. Never think of yourself as useless. As you must have heard again and again Gurudev's quote, youth are not useless, they are only used less. But let me tell you, it's not the world that uses you, misuses you. Very often, we ourselves don't use ourselves enough. So each one of us is unique. Each one of us has our unique purpose to fulfill. Each one of us can contribute to society, whether family, society, even to the institution where we are studying, in our own unique way. And if you only think that I need to be a positive contributor to society, you just think that in your mind and you will be amazed as how you will find your own place. You'll find your own uniqueness. You will create your own standard of success that others will admire. So, let comparison be an inspiration, not that which will give you complex. Have you heard the voice of Sachin Tendulkar? You think as he was growing up, it's an admirable voice for a young man to have? No. Right? But when you hear that voice, who do you think? That's Sachin Tendulkar right away, is it not? He did what he could do best. And his voice was not an impediment to him. In fact, he's a voice that you can easily recognize. So there's no mistake in the universe. So don't have a complex about your voice. Don't have a complex about your looks. Don't have a complex about even your intellectual capacity. Each one of us has our own uniqueness and we are best at that.
Absolutely. And you did very nicely speak about myself. That was the second topic, about how each of us are unique. The third one is losing, right? So we always talk about success, but talking about failure, I'm sure there are certain goals that we set for ourselves and we don't achieve and we consider that as failure. Students sitting here might have gone through failures in their own ways. So how can one deal with failure, or how should we look at failure?
See, when we don't get what we want, number one, we consider that as failure. But that I already said, that you may not get what you want, but you appreciate whatever you got out of the effort that you put. You are in gain only, never in loss. Right? No effort goes to waste. Please understand. Yeah? Even if you did not win the gold medal, say, in Olympics. But you mean to say that the effort that you put in your training, the body that you developed, has it gone to waste? Cannot it be useful for other goals? Right? Therefore, the beauty, and this every student in life must know it, but every management student also should know that this uniqueness that the Eastern knowledge system has given on management, and Bhagavad Gita is the best book on management, where that one philosophy, do your best and whatever result comes, accept. I'll give you an example from the corporate world only. There was a funding for a research in making a glue which was transparent. Because that time, in the 70s, they were looking for creating toughened glass, which we now commonly have. But that time we didn't have toughened glass. Glass could be easily shattered. So they wanted to put layers of glass together and they wanted a glue that would be transparent. But glue, as you know, is opaque. So research was being done to make a glue that is transparent. To make it transparent, it had to be thin. But when you meant it thin, it was not strong enough to hold even a piece of paper. So as such, the research failed. Funding stopped. Now this young man who had invested so much of his time, as such he felt he was a failure and he gave up. And until the 70s, 80s, nobody knew what depression was, really speaking. But he went through major depression. Now lose anything, but don't lose your mind. If you lost your mind, you've lost everything. Luckily, he had a very, very good friend. And this friend's wife, she told her husband that, listen, your friend is in trouble. And when they're in depression, they want to be alone. He'll get worse, worse, worse. He's not eating properly. Why don't you bring him home? We will look after him and get him out of his depression and feed him properly. His friend called him home. That was good that he was being fed. And she also was good because husbands don't listen. And she had someone sitting there and she could complain. And, she needs to let out also. And even though he was not listening, but you had an audience. And one day she was grumbling, your friend who doesn't remember anything. Look at this whole refrigerator of mine. I have to stick notes here. Why can't they make a sticker that when you can easily remove it and not leave a stain behind? It became the world's biggest patent at that time, called as stickers, post-its. a major failure became into a new standard of success. Therefore, whenever you have done your best, whatever result you get, if you accept it with a calm mind, you would have noticed that much more than just what you aimed for, you got much more than that. Yeah? So it is how you measured success, how do you measure failure? Number one, this is subtle. Yeah? Another thing is, a project might fail, but don't consider yourself to be a failure. Very important is how you label yourself. A project might fail. You might even fail an examination. You can say that I failed an examination or this project failed, but never say you are a failure. Yeah. Never tell anybody that. Never tell yourself. Yeah. Never use these words, I am a failure. Because if you are a failure, you are Mr. Failure or Miss Failure. Then anything that you do will be a failure only. A project failed, as I said, even that is not a failure. You can turn it into greater success. But never label yourself as a failure. Don't give this narrative to your mind.
Absolutely. In this whole purview of myself, failure, success, there are two P's that this generation usually go through. One is pressure and the other one is patience, opposite, which is impatient, right? So usually people want very instant. We are living in an Instagram world, stories go away in 24 hours, everything is very fast, they Snapchat. We're so used to kind of now Instagram reel has a forward button because we don't have patience to see a 2 minutes reel. So in the world where everything is so fast paced, things take time. Nature teaches that it takes time for a fruit to grow or a flower to grow. What would you like to say in terms of having some patience and just holding back and doing your work?
One man went to a priest for confession and said, everything is going wrong in my life. Give me some solution. Probably his wife had already spoken to the priest. So the priest told him that your problem is you don't have any patience. Now, you don't have patience with your children. Your children will turn against you. You don't have patience towards your wife. Wife is going to be upset. You don't have patience towards your staff. They are going to be affected. So he said, then what do I do to get patience? Now, what could the priest tell him? The priest said, go and pray to God to give you patience. So he went, knelt down, looked up and said, oh God, give me patience, but give me right now. See, patience is a virtue that gives you perseverance. And one of the most important essentials for success is perseverance. Even in a relationship, perseverance. To develop that perseverance, that fortitude, to continue till you reach your goal, it requires patience. So it's a virtue that we must develop. Now, yes, the media, etc., are making you constantly giving you so much stimulus. Therefore, first of all, become aware of it. Become aware of it. Secondly is, please spend some time alone in nature. Not running, not jogging, but just 15-20 minutes in a day. Take out, sit in front of a flower, sit in front of the sunset and the sunrise. Because so much stimuli from the phone, from the laptop, that is constantly being bombarded into your mind, that it is making your neurological cells, etc., to get that kind of constant stimulus. So partly, yes, we are a victim to what technology is going on right now. But we can't stop technology. It is to our benefit also. But see that it does not affect you. Huh? So spend time in nature. Today, all universities abroad are inviting us to teach children meditation. Yeah? They'll call it mindfulness, etc. You are literally in God's own country. Yeah? And especially the campuses we have, whether it's SIF, ONAK or just look at the greenery outside.
Yeah.
Go sit outside. Yeah. You're trying also now to build your beautiful, Anubhavatika, Go spend time there. Yeah. Because we have to retrain our minds to become calmer, peaceful, as well as to have that sense of perseverance. Get inspiration from nature and let nature heal you, calm you down. No? I could give you many other, logical kind of explanations to do things, but this is one of the best ways. Yeah? It's not that we didn't go through pressure when we were studying, but unknowingly, luckily I had a beach near the house. First with friends we used to go, chatting, eating and chatting, what we call, in Bombay, chatting. You eat chaat on the way. But when I was in college, and sometimes even quite disappointed, with how the studies were in college compared to school. And even though I went to the best college, I really didn't feel that I was getting the education. I mean, they're very good teachers, professors, college was excellent. I had no complaints about my college. But the knowledge that I was seeking, I was not getting, So it was making me impatient because I'm not getting what I wanted out of that knowledge. But one of the greatest, calming was I would go and watch the sunset every evening. Besides going and studying and going to tutorial classes or something like that, I would go. And that was one of the most healing moments, I would say. That gave me the fortitude that in spite of not getting what I wanted from my studies, to pursue and see that eventually I find that source of knowledge which I wanted in my life. So try to do that. That's up to you. And before you go to bed, switch off your phone half an hour, 1 hour before. When you get up, don't open your phone right away. Later on, when you go to work, all that may be necessary. But try to calm yourself down. Learn some breathing technique, meditation techniques. They're all, even all your worship, even going into the temple, it is to calm your mind, not just go there, break a coconut and run from there. Luckily, our temples also are very, very, peaceful. They're not the move. Find some quiet place for you and spend 10-15 minutes daily. If not, at least in your room.
Swamiji, the second P, pressure. They have pressure from parents, pressure from teachers, pressure from themselves, pressure from boyfriend, girlfriends. There's so much of pressure. So how can they deal with pressure?
Be yourself. Do your best, leave the rest. You do your best, but leave the rest. You cannot please everybody in your life. Yeah? Don't do things to please people. Do what your duty is and do it to the best of your capacity. Then you will not feel under pressure.
Lovely. Swamiji, there are so many questions the students want to ask. So there is
Avantika Anil.
Hari Om Swamiji. My question is kind of simple. How can I build my inner strength to achieve my success?
As I said, tap into your uniqueness, tap into your purpose, keep a high and noble purpose. Yeah. Keep a high and noble purpose, set your goals high, and in the process, you'll start finding yourself.
Swamiji.
Krishna Gaddha.
Hari Om Swamiji, my question is, how do we know what we call success is truly ours or something that the world has taught us to chase?
At this moment, we are product of both. Yeah? At first, you will start with whatever the trends are. Yeah? That's why we spend time with yourself. You'll be clear about what you want. Yeah? When I say you want, not just money and this, but what you want to achieve as a person. Your growth. Start thinking on those lines. Yeah? Then you will be able to. Of course, see what are your talents, see what are your ability, what you naturally gravitate towards, what aptitude you feel. Don't try to take up jobs just out of trends. Yeah. I know income is necessary, so you take it up. And don't then make your career. If it's for money, you did it, you work, right? But in the process, don't lose yourself. That you earn for your money, you earn your money. But take up those hobbies that you like. Don't pretend in front of others. Be yourself. Yeah? Be yourself, not that I don't consider anything. I'm frank, fatak, I said something to someone. No. You like people being rude to you. So it's not that you are rude. Because if you are rude by nature, you won't mind others being rude to you. But if you do not like other people being rude to you, then you don't be rude. Yeah. Atmika Iyer.
All girls asking questions.
No, there might be boys, but the girls are getting lucky.
Hari Om Swamiji. My question is, how can we discover our true purpose when there are so many different paths and expectations around us? And if we haven't discovered our purpose yet, what can we do to slowly move closer to it?
Don't struggle about your purpose right now. Whatever you do, whatever. At the moment, the purpose is you want to please others, right? With the mummy, daddy, friends, peers, trends that are there. No? But whatever you do, even if you're doing just for your parents, whether you're doing it in school, just do your best. When you start doing your best, your real nature will start coming out. Your real aptitude, what you're good at. And you'll begin to recognize. Yeah. But our final purpose is to be happy. Is it not? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Think about it. Yeah? If you're happy doing what you can do it. But think about long-term happiness. Like that, even about to say, eating something you might be very happy, but it could be harmful for your health. So look at these two things. Are you happy doing what you're doing? Not like that, of course, you'll be happy just sleeping at home and not going for studies and somebody providing for you. That is not the type of happiness I'm saying. Even that you will get bored of soon. So ask yourself, are you feeling a sense of satisfaction, a sense of fulfillment in doing what you are doing? And just don't do it because it's a trend, but because you want to do it. And if you've taken up anything, for whatever reason, do your best in it. Life will show you the right direction. You don't struggle to find out your purpose.
I hope it's a guy.
P.R. Sriram.
Hari Om Swamiji. As we students often find ourselves torn between deadlines and dreams, what practices or perspectives can help us stay grounded?
Unfortunately, yes, a lot of deadlines. But deadlines are two, because when it's time to work, we are dead. And when the deadlines come, we become alive. And this was in most universities that I've gone, where they had asked me to speak on success without stress. And I was having interaction with the students and saying that, what does your management courses talk about stress? They said stress is good for us, they say. But there's a saying in Hindi, लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. No? So most of us have become like that until unless there's deadlines, until unless an examination is coming, we don't study. Then we get pressured or not. My brother used to study at the last moment and used to pass. No? And in fact, when he failed and came, he got a little bit of scolding. But if he passed and he came, he would get a slap. He said, "Arey, but I passed." Arey, if you could pass on studying one day, how much better you could do if you had studied earlier, is it not? So, each step, take it at its right time. However, today the world has become like this, especially the work field, not school, college, but work field is like that everybody has to work so many hours, deadlines constantly, impractical deadlines. Wherever you are, create a culture where things are done at the right time and periods are thought of intelligently. Yet there are certain fields of work which require, immediate action, decision, etc. Then go into that field only if you are fit for it. Don't do that. No. I also learned when I was, for a short time in business. Again, my brother did everything last moment, but he did it well. And he could work that way. I couldn't work that way. So, I was told, you do your way, let him do his way. So, when it came to deadlines or immediate action, really I couldn't perform. So, he was an asset. Yeah. But pre-planning, working it out, setting everything out, I was very good. So, the two of us made a good. So, like that, you team up with people who can work under stress. Yeah. And you decrease their stress by doing it on time. So, this is how you combine your life. Because every time to say that there will be no such situation where you are put under pressure. Yeah? But you have to learn to perform both. Under pressure also, and ideally for yourself, work without pressure.
Swamiji, one last question, but this is from the teachers. One of the teachers will get to ask a question.
Uma Narayan. Don't ask me how to handle students.
Hariom Swamiji, how do I avoid burnout, still pursue the excellence?
See, burnout is two types. One is physical exertion beyond our own limit, but most of the burnout is mental. And two main factors are there. One is, of course, a lot of work. The other is our mental attitude. Mental attitude we should correct. Really speaking, whatever is pointed out to us as values, virtues, when we have that, there will be no mental burnout of that sort. See, when we don't like our work, when we feel that I am working and others are not working, or work is too much, I can't handle it. The moment you say, I can't handle it, you can't. Because remember, you're always right. Yeah? Love your work. Love your goal. Keep your mind on that. As Gurudev says very beautifully, dynamism does not come from protein shakes or vitamin pills. The more you're inspired by your goal, students, make your teachers so inspired, that they get so much dynamism that they don't get burnt out. They fire you out. So rather than getting burnt out, use that fire to burn, not burn the world, but to kindle that fire in the students. And if that becomes your inspiration, that the students are benefiting, you will never get burnt out. As a teacher, I'm speaking, that when you see a child doing well, it's a student doing well, a youth performing well, that itself is such an inspiration that you will not feel that burnout feeling. But if the general attitude in the world is, less pay, more work, complain, or the other way around, people demand, less work, more pay, then they'll get burnt out only, So keep yourself inspired, The profession in which you are, two profession where you directly serve people. One is medicine, other is education. It's one of the most noble professions. Whatever income that we are going to get, but what have we contributed in the life of the students? And when you see that joy in the performance of the students, the development of the students, then I tell you, I have seen teachers, and I have had teachers myself like that, who would, take that time out for us just to see that we would develop. And of course, as students also, you should inspire your teachers that they don't feel burnt out, but they feel all fired up.
Swamiji, lastly, CVV is one of the very unique universities where there is Indian knowledge system combined with contemporary knowledge system. Students sitting here and the rest of the students at CVV are very lucky. One last thought or an action or something that you want to leave the room with, where they're going to keep in mind for a long time.
Something about CVV, Gurudev's grand vision. Most people come for education, for placement, I understand. That's why we have to give all that education. We all know now, and at least we begin to recognize that we had a very rich knowledge system. We had. The world admires it. World universities are doing research in it. But for generations, after the new education system introduced in India by the British, and we are still following that system, the world is following that system, that we were trapped into whatever concepts they put in our mind. Some good, some harmful also. And one of these things was that we as Indians lost pride in being an Indian, Bharatiya, lost our tradition of knowledge systems that were carried on not only in our Gurukulas but also in our family traditions. And that system was destroyed. They could easily say, oh, Mahabharata speaks of myth, They called us flying chariots. They call Viman flying chariots. The Western world does not. They knew that we had spacecrafts. Now, we are not yet into teaching that science here at CVV. But as students of CVV, you have an added advantage of showing interest and over a period of time developing that interest. And I do have faith that some of you will grow in CVV to revive our Indian knowledge systems and create a completely new niche for Indian knowledge system in the world. It may sound very far-fetched right now. Many of you think, I just came here, I want a job and I'll get it. But even few students who can take it up as research, find out what the world still has not discovered. We have discovered many new things in modern science also. But where we still are lacking, and where we find evidence in our Indian knowledge system that it was there. If we revive it, we will be pioneers. Yeah? And I'll all say that genetically, culturally, and today you will see around the world, why are Indians excelling? Yeah? Because culturally and value systems that give us a very strong intellect, yeah? A holistic way of thinking, which is lacking in our modern education, which only teaches us linear way of thinking. The Western world is grappling with it, but they don't know how. But our Indian culture teaches us a holistic way of thinking. Value it, because you've got a very great asset. And now we are losing it faster than ever because of all, globalization, social media, everybody trying to go abroad to get education, wanting to work abroad for more money. But where India is growing now is the perfect time that you should bring this up. So keep that interest. Value your culture, value your religion that has come from eternal time. And this part, in India, religion, culture, value systems, these are not different things. Nor our sciences are separate from it. So, don't lose your Indian language. At least one Indian language. We do not know what we have lost in losing Sanskrit. Still, all our books of knowledge, even sciences, are in Sanskrit. Having lost Sanskrit, we have lost a lot. But if we lose our Indian languages, learn English. We know in the commercial world we require English. But don't lose any Indian language. Your mother tongue, don't lose it. You will find some literature, you will find something eventually, but at the same time, it gives you the right mind development, which English language does not have. Unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity. It was only because of Gurudev that in the science of Vedanta that we developed that and recognized the importance of having that cultural mindset. But same thing for all sciences. So be proud to be a Bharatiya. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of your value systems. And I'm telling you, everything else is very easy.
Absolutely. Swamiji, thank you so much for taking an hour, and it was extremely inspiring. A couple of takeaways for me. One of the things that I'm going to definitely do from today is spending that 15 minutes in nature, because it's going to heal, as you said, and one of the easiest things that's in front of us for us to do. And I hope a lot of people here will go back to the university campus and remember this, to spend time in nature. Thank you for taking time, and it was an amazing session. Thank you so much. Let's give the loudest round of applause to Swamiji.
And all students and faculty, I'm very, very proud of you. I've seen you come a long way, even in this 1 year. Keep it going, keep your spirit going, enthusiasm, put in your sincere effort, so that before you rocket out from CVV, you're well equipped and confident to be successful and bring success to the world also. Hari Om.